Mr. Rajalingam, and today we're going to go over basic suturing and hand knot tying. Whichever branch of medicine you work in, be it surgery or the medical specialties, you never know when basic suturing techniques become useful. Be it securing a drain or closing a wound, you need to know simple measures and a good technique so they can deliver the best care to your patients. So before we start, let's go over the essential items we need to close a wound. Let's start with the tooth forceps. Called so because it has teeth at the end, useful for picking up skin. Pair of scissors and the needle holder. If you look closely, the needle holder has a curve to it. This is to assist your hand and to ensure that you have the best grip possible while doing your bite into the skin. Attached to the needle holder, I have attached a length of suture with a round needle in the made safe position. An important note when working in theatres and handing back needles to scrub practitioner, you should always hand it back in the made safe position like so. Alright, let's start with our wound. Well, I'll take you through a basic, simple, interrupted suture. First, mount the needle. The needle is mounted 3/4 of the way along, or depending on the depth of the wound. Notice how I've held my needle holder with the curve, the top, secured with my index finger. There are ratchets that click when you've had a secure grip on the needle. By not clicking the ratchets, the needle holder, the needle, will move. But when clicked, it is secure. Okay, let's start with our wound. So I'll pick up the skin, invert it, needle perpendicular, and using the curve of the needle and the wrist action, pass needle through the edge of the skin. Then with an open hand technique, grab the body of the needle again, secure it, and follow the curve again. Now do the same, remount to the other skin edge. Perpendicular to the skin, using the curve of the needle, open your hand and pull it out. Okay, now we will go over how to put a instrument tie. Now, select an appropriate length of suture. You don't want it too long, otherwise you'd have difficulty pulling the loops through. And again, you don't want it too short because you may lose the suture. So, selecting the appropriate length that you can work with, and it's probably a good idea to start a bit longer. Put your needle in a safe place. Hold the long end loosely. Now, using your needle holder, loop the long end around the needle holder. For the first throw, you must loop it twice. Notice I've kept this whole long end looped loosely. This will prevent movement, because if it was tight, there would be movement of the short end. Now, grab the short end with the tip of your needle holder and pull it through to the bottom. Notice how the knot is now about to lie square over the skin edge. It's a good practice to pull the knot to one side, either to the top or to the bottom. And secure it with your finger. Now, notice how you have your short end at the bottom and the long end at the top. So we'll do the same. Have the long end kept loose, loop it over your needle holder, this time only once. Now, using the tip of the needle holder, grab the short end, ratchet it, and secure your knot. Notice how the knot is to one side and without excessive tension on the skin. This takes practice. Now we'll do this the same. Top end, down. Bottom end, top. And continue. In reality, you'd only need 3 knots for a suture-like vicryl which has a braid. So there we go. That is a simple interrupted suture using instrument tie. We'll now go over simple hand knot tying using the sutures demonstrated here. As you can see, I've already prepared the woundage with a bite through both ends, and at this point, if you are doing instrument tie, you would prepare the appropriate length and do your tie. As we're going to do hand knot tying, I've kept the needle in the safe position and away, and I've selected an appropriate length. I hope you can appreciate that I've got a short end and a long end. For the purpose of this demonstration, the short end is at the top and the long end at the bottom. Now, pick up the short end using your thumb and index finger. Then, using your middle finger and your thumb with your index finger to support it, hold the short end, creating an area of tension like so. Now, using the long end, loop over the short end, over your index finger, like so, and then make a knot between the short end and the long end using your index finger, like so, by pulling the long end underneath the short end, looping it on top of the short end before pulling the short end through, creating a knot like this. You may find it easier to use 2 fingers for this. If so, use your thumb and ring finger to hold the short end before looping the long end across and using your middle finger to do the knot tying. So loop the short end, loop the long end underneath the short end, then pull the short end through using your index and middle finger, like so. There you have it, the first throw of your knot. Snug it down with your finger and maintain the tension. Now you have your short end at the bottom, and I'm adjusting it to have an appropriate length, and the long end at the top. Now let's bring the short end on this side. To do so, hold it again with your thumb and index finger, and this time using your middle finger, loop the long end over it, and using the same motion as we did before, pull the long end underneath the short end, like so. Let me show you that again. Long end underneath the short end before grabbing the short end and pulling it through. Now I've created a loop here, but if you were to do this without stopping and maintaining tension throughout, you should be able to snug it down perfectly. Now let's do this again. Short end at the top, long end at the bottom. Pick it up, loop the long end, pull the long end through, short end through, and snug it down. Short end to the top, long end loop to the bottom, using the middle finger, pulling it through and snugging it down. And repeat this. And there you go. Keep practicing.